1B. Reading. A. Discuss. Have you ever read or heard about any strange crimes? Crimes is when someone breaks the law, like when someone steals, someone kills. Strange, unusual. Well, I read about a true story which is very strange. One time, while someone was making a stop at the drive-thru. You know what a drive-thru is? It is when you order your food from a fast food restaurant while driving your car. Of his local fast food restaurant, a man threw the past to throw an alligator. Believe it or not, he threw this at the person inside through the restaurant's window. And why would someone do that? It's very strange. Now, what would you do if you knew that there was a burglar? A burglar is someone who breaks into houses to steal in your house. Well, definitely the first thing I would do is call 911 immediately, at once. And I wouldn't let him know that I'm aware, that I know of his presence, that he is in my home. I would just leave him alone and call 911 and let the police deal with him. Now read the text quickly and answer the following questions. Where does the text probably come from? Where does this come from? Does it come from a short stories book, a daily newspaper, a weekly magazine, or a police report? Report is a written description of an event. For the police, hungry burglar caught red-handed. Caught is the past of catch. Arrested. Red-handed, he was arrested in action. He was actually stealing when he was caught. Last night, the police finally caught the well-known hungry burglar. Well-known, a lot of people know him. A burglar, like we said, someone who breaks into houses to steal. In action, he was red-handed. He was actually stealing when the police came. In the house of Tony Green, a Montville, New Jersey native. Tony Green is a man. He is from Montville, New Jersey. This town, this place is in the United States of America. He is one of the natives. That means he was born there. The burglar was known in the area, in Montville, for breaking into houses. When you break into a house, you illegally, without permission, enter a house by breaking a window or a door. Into houses when the owners, people who live in these houses, were either gone or asleep, and simply eating or taking whatever food he could find. He did it many times. Many victims, people who were robbed or kidnapped, simply woke up or returned home to find their cupboards and fridges completely empty. Now this pronounced as cupboards. Cupboards. The burglar had stolen everything inside them. That was not the case. This is not what happened for Tony. However, he was asleep when he heard strange noises coming from the kitchen. He quietly went downstairs and, to his astonishment, to his surprise, he saw a chubby man, a fat man, of about 40 years old, eating his chicken leftovers. When you eat something and you don't finish it, what remains become the leftover. Okay, so Tony ate chicken and he didn't finish it, and the robber was finishing the chicken, finishing the leftovers. He immediately called the police and asked them to come to his house as quickly as possible, very fast. The police told him not to panic. Try to stay calm, try to stay focused, and said that they would be there in no time, that they would come very fast. They also told him to stay in his room for safety reasons, because if he knew, the burglar might attack him. I had heard stories of the hungry thief from friends and some neighbors, people who lived nearby, who had been victims of his food raiding. Raid is when you attack quickly and surprisingly, without warning. So I was prepared. Tony says, "Do you see the quotation marks?" This is the exact words Tony said. Thankfully, luckily, the police arrived before the thief had time to finish my roast chicken. Roast chicken. They also found about 10 bags of food he was ready to take with him before he left. People like Tim and Miranda Jones were not so lucky. They returned home once to find one of their front windows broken and their kitchen a mess, untidy and dirty. They said that it looked like a hurricane. A hurricane is a bad storm with very fast winds, had passed through their house, had entered the house like a storm, a hurricane. There were scraps, small pieces of food everywhere, and pots and pans, scattered, thrown randomly around the house, around the kitchen, on the floor. Scattered, thrown randomly, pots and pans, they are everywhere on the floor. It was very bizarre, unusual, strange, bizarre. Says Miranda. The police asked us if anything else was missing, was stolen. We checked to see if our money and jewelry, our necklaces, gold earrings, were gone. Fortunately, everything was in its place. It was only food. It was just the food he was after. The burglar was after food. What does that mean, he was after food? It means he was looking only for food. That's all he wanted. We asked our neighbors if they had heard or seen anything, but nobody had. I had never encountered, I had never seen, never faced anything like this. Encountered. We simply didn't know how to react. We didn't know what to do. React. The police confirmed. When you confirm, you say that something is true. The identification, who this guy really is, identification of the man by matching his fingerprints with some that had been left on food containers. Containers are boxes where you keep food leftovers from his previous burglaries. After the burglar confessed, when you confess, you admit, you say that it is true that you did something wrong. The police asked him why he had committed, why he had done those crimes. He said that he was a homeless man, a man with no home, who was simply hungry and he liked eating home-cooked meals to stealing from supermarkets. You know, supermarket food is not delicious. Meals cooked at home are delicious. He also said that he never stole anything apart from, excluding food. He was charged. The police stated that he committed burglary and can experience up to means the maximum of 2 years. So he will not stay in jail for more than 2 years, maybe less, 2 years or less, in prison, in jail. Now, where was the text taken from? It was taken from a newspaper, and I'll tell you why. Well, it doesn't come from short stories book because we have too much information here, too much details. This doesn't happen when you tell a story. And this is appropriate to the details, the quotations for a newspaper report. It can't be from a weekly magazine because in the first paragraph we have last night and this is a weekly magazine, so this could not happen. And a police report would exclude, wouldn't have all quotations. Look, here we have quotations. And here we have quotations, more quotations. Says Miranda, Tony says, you don't see this in police reports. Now put T for true, F for false, and M for not mentioned. We don't have it here. The burglar is a New Jersey native. We don't know that. We know that Tony is a New Jersey native. We don't know if the burglar was a New Jersey native. Tony Green caught the thief? No, it was the police that came and caught the criminal. The burglar was preparing to take food from Tony's house. That is correct. He prepared 10 bags of food to take with him. The burglar's favorite food was chicken. We don't know. He was eating chicken, but maybe he liked other food. He liked all home-cooked meals. The burglar entered Tim and Miranda's house by breaking their front window. That is correct. He broke the front windows. No jewelry or money was stolen from the Jones house. That is true. They checked the jewelry and the money, and everything was in its place. The police arrived at Tim and Miranda's house in no time. We don't know that. Well, the police told Tony that they would arrive in no time, but we don't know if that happened with Tim and Miranda. The police matched the burglar's fingerprints with those left on food containers. That happened. And the fingerprints actually matched. The burglar never admitted. Admitted, confessed. The same thing. He never confessed his crimes. Well, it's false. The burglar confessed. The burglar will go to prison for at least this is the minimum, maybe more than 2 years. That is false. Well, he will go to prison for 2 years at most. 2 years or less. We have up to. Means this is the maximum. 2 years, maybe less. Not at least. At least means 2 years or more. Now match the words and phrases highlighted with their meanings. In no time means quickly, very fast. Thankfully means luckily. Scattered, the pans were scattered on the floor. They were thrown on the floor randomly. Thrown and spread everywhere around. Bizarre, unusual, very strange. Encountered, faced, experienced. Confessed, admitted. You admit doing something wrong. Apart from, C. Except for, excluding. Now, what makes the hungry thief different from other criminals who break into houses? The main difference is that he was after food. Other criminals are usually after money, right? That's why they are different. And this is why he will only stay in jail for 2 years, or maybe less. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please share it with friends. I will see you again in the next one, inshallah. Goodbye.